Yeah, good morning, guys. Have a wonderful morning. So, in the last class, we discussed about the one what we called how the nuclear test, which was taken part over there in Alaska. The volunteers who named as the ship, what we call Greenpeace. So all these are only what it makes us how to be protect the environment and how to be safeguard the resources, how these resources can be transferred from one generation to another generation to preserve and protect. In that connectivity, we are discussing about the topics related. So here one more incident also took place about that. What we are going to discuss about the one called Bhopal Gas Disaster. As you know that Bhopal is the capital city of Madhya Pradesh. What are the Bhopal gas disaster movement related to? One, that is what we are going to discuss about this in this. So this is happened on 3rd December 1984. Around exactly 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. like early in the morning when people were sleeping. A poisonous gas was leaked out in Union Carbide factory and thousands of people were no more. And most of them were ill affected, and even still today they are suffering because of compensation and they are asking the demand. How that was impact and how the innocent people were no more. Here what is clear means we can make everything with money or the resources or the things whatever we make, but there is no way to bring the life back. The dead people, we can't bring them back. That is my point, what I want to make you clear. So in this connectivity, how this poisonous gas was leaked and how people were died and what was their main demand. The demand is, here the 4 demands they are asking. The first one is proper medical treatment of the victims. When that was affected with such type of poisonous gas leak, they are demanding only to have proper medical treatment. Accidentally, the things which are going to be happen when we see on the roads also, what they say means immediately minimum first aid to the victim, and then we have to carry him to a minimum like specialized hospital. So that is what the same demand the people are asking over here also. The same demand they are asking. We need medical treatment and also adequate compensation which is based on international standards of multinational companies. See, like whenever they are going to launch one company, they have some standards. What type of standards? International standards. And that the people, whoever they are affected, compensation have to be paid as per the rules and regulation, as per the standards. Only the people are started demanding that demand. They want to be fulfilled and they have to be made satisfied over here. Adequate in the sense nothing but sufficient compensation have to be paid whoever they are suffering. That was the second demand what they are making. Not only that, fixing criminal responsibility for the disaster on the management of multinational companies. Action should be taken because how they lost their life will not be back again. So that was the reason. This is all what they are asking, the important demands. Finally, steps to prevent such disaster in the future. No way in future they don't want to see such type of disaster affected people, how they suffered. So all these are the demands what they are asking. So the people, they are asking only the compensation for what? To have the international law to fight against the problems affected by the people. Most of them, women, men, whoever they are involved over there, they used to suffer a lot. They used to have various problems. And not only that, what was created here? Pollution created by the company. See, whatever the standards for international level we are planning, how it should be, in what manner it should be, means pollutionless. It should not create the polluted. So these are the things. And after, even the multinational companies like Dow company came and they purchased that, and they started all over the worldwide, they started having the same company, and even they said conducting of Olympics. But most of them, they protest and they said that such type of thing should not be happen in future, and such type of companies should not be given license. Otherwise what they are going to ask, and they are asking to conclude such type of incidents in future, to be careful and cautious, and that should not create harm. So all these are only the things where related to one, like what we call Bhopal Gas Disaster. That is what previously we discussed. One more, what we call Chernobyl in the USSR. That is also one of the incident which took place over there. So that all what it describes regarding the one what we call Bhopal Gas Disaster. Coming to the next, like environmental movement. The main intention of this environmental movement is that only to maintain ecological balance. From imbalancing to balancing, we have to safeguard and protect the environment. How to protect this environment? So here, as we have already seen earlier, what is that means in the year 1970s, grassroots movement for protection of natural forests. So the main cause, as yesterday we discussed about the one what we called last topic, related to global warming. The main reason and cause is only one what we call deforestation. So in this manner related to environment, here this is the one how they have protected. So these all are they have written very clearly about Chipko movement, as we have already discussed this topic in previous, like Sundarlal Bahuguna, Garhwal of Uttarakhand and Himalayas, how they are protected all the women around the trees, hugging, and they have protected the trees, nothing but safeguarding of the natural forest. That was a great successful movement, like what we call Chipko movement. So these are the things what it makes us clear. And related to one more, movements against dams on the Narmada river. So this is what we have to discuss. So right from 1950s, the government of our country, India, they have been planned and designed for multi-purpose projects. The first Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru started making of what agriculture and as well as industry. So based upon agriculture, what he was proposed means to have the various dams, multi-purpose dams, like Bhakra Nangal, Hirakud and Nagarjuna Sagar. So when these are there, people are having positive feelings. These are very essential because as we know that for agriculture, irrigation is linked up nothing but artificial supply of water through wells, canals and tanks. So in that connectivity that they have built the dams. Dams are made usage for various, especially like store of huge water. It is a storage place. These dams, how they are making means to store the water. Like every day, like even well water and tap water, whenever we are getting, what we do usually, we try to fulfill all. We try to fulfill that. So that is nothing but what? Storage. Suppose if you see syntax or tanks for every residence, we try to fulfill that. Immediately when water is accomplished, we try to send the water back again, recharging. So like all these are only what it says means to store the water. That is the first. And not only that, floods. Floods is nothing but excess of water. Heavy downpour or when the water is coming excess, these dams can safeguard us and water will be preserved through one what we call floods. And droughts is nothing but droughts where there is lack of water, the water can be used. So this is what we call droughts. Floods is excess of water, droughts is lack of water. Not only that, with these dams, even we can able to generate hydroelectricity. As you know that hydroelectricity only through water, thermal electricity only through coal. So these are the two things which they have been made. And what was the feeling of the people? Positive feeling. And not only that, tourism point of view. Even tourism point of view, to build up the economy. These are the things which they have been become very familiar. But coming to the one what we called Narmada Bachao Andolan, this is only movements against dams on the river Narmada. That is what we call Narmada Bachao Andolan, shortly what we call NBA. But coming to this Narmada Bachao Andolan, the people mindset have completely changed. What they are saying means we don't want any dams. As we have already seen in one like what we call nuclear power project, Tirunelveli in Tamil Nadu state. So all these are the incidents. What they are saying means people are opposing, people are protesting that as they don't want. That is the demand. What they are saying here. Why? What was the reason? What was the Andolan? What was the reason for these movements? As they say that these movements are like neoliberalism. Like globalization, in which what we are seeing as we discussed yesterday, things which has been turned here, especially struggle of the farmers, land over for dams. So meanwhile, where these people, animals, trees fully submerged. I repeat, people, animal, trees fully submerged. Because of that, what they are saying, we don't want these movements. Please stop. That is only what we call Narmada Bachao Andolan, shortly what we call as NBA. So, struggle for the farmers, land over for dams, and that what it is becoming like urbanization, industries, and making of corporate level of these mines and forest. If these things are going to be happen, then who have to bear the compensation? Who have to fulfill the demand of people? Like all these are submerging in that. So that what they are saying here, to stop such type of construction of dams where people are opposing and rejecting that through the movement like what we call Narmada Bachao Andolan. So all these are only the movements related for what means like environmental protection, and this is how what we are seeing. The main intention of this is that only to protect the environment and to safeguard the environment. So that is what we have learned about the one what we called a movement against dams on the river Narmada. That was the end. Okay. After completion of environmental movement, now we are coming to the point movement of women for social justice and human rights. So in these, what are the things we are going to learn? Means movement of women for social justice and human rights, in which these are the two things which we are going to be connected. One is the anti-Iraq movement of Andhra Pradesh, Manipuri women against people powers of the armed forces. These two things are related to social justice and human rights. Now let us discuss in detail about these two incidents, what happened, how things are taken part over here. Here, the theme and the topic what they have been given is the one what we call Adavalu Ekamaite. If all the women are going to be united together, what things are going to be happen? That is what we call Adavalu Ekamaite. So it's a true story which was happened over there in Dupagunda village of Nellore district. Regarding what here means, the women are against of these two, like what we call Toddy and as well as Iraq. Toddy is nothing but, as you know, that like what we called white water. Iraq is related to one what we call alcohol. So how they are impact with such type of alcohol and in what manner the things are happened. This is the true story which was happened over there, related to one what is her name called Sitamma. Sitamma was no more because of her husband when he was addicted to alcohol, and with that, in which after consuming the alcohol, what he did, he doesn't know, he used to slap the children, and with that even he killed his wife Sitamma. So based upon that only, this is the one what they have started asking here. Like usually the people used to go to fields and they used to get some or the other work, people are engaged there, like going to the fields and doing some or the other work to make their livelihood. So in that connectivity, all the women were there going to the fields and doing some or the other work. But whereas these husbands, what they are doing means things whatever they are hiding inside. Even they go to a kitchen and they used to pick up some pulses, rice, ghee or something, whatever the commodities which they used to find. And these are all the products which they are selling there, and with which whatever they are getting the amount they started utilizing for toddy or alcohol based. So this is the things which was happening, and almost all the village people of Tubakunda in Nellore district, people were fed up. People were fed up, and what they decided means one or the other way we have to meet to the Sarpanch and we have to express our all problems, and the only solution is that alcohol should be banned. So what they decided means, that is the reason they were united together. That is what we call Adavalu Ekamaite. So with this unity, what they are asking over there to the Sarpanch means, they are no way to allow such type of toddy or liquor based like jeep or van entering into that village. They are very serious about that, and all of them were coming on the roads with unity like Adavalu Ekamaite, and they are asking to stop such type of what we call arak. We are ready to donate one rupee and we want to give you, but here we don't want to see such type of alcohol affected people in our village. That is what they are asking. In the initial stage, Zarbanch was not accepted. Then after the pressure which was pressurized by all these women, then he decided to stop such type of thing. So meanwhile, what happened over here means, in case even though if people are not going to listen, if they are going to follow the same consuming such type of alcohol and making some inconvenience to the people, then what was the decision they have taken means, they decided that to make all the men whoever they are consuming like clean trim, clean shave, and making that person to be sit on the donkeys and to make parade over the village. So these are the things what they decided. One or the other way the people have to stop that, and for that they asked all the men to take the oath to ban or not to drink alcohol, that they have taken the oath. And in case if they are going to take, these are the things which is going to be happen, they want this said very strictly. There and then what happened, the people they stop, and everyone they are going to their fields and the people were working. But meanwhile what happened here means with all such type of thing, arak was officially banned in October 1993. That was the decision, because of all the people were united together, and when they asked, that was banned in October 1993. So that was the end, and total prohibition was imposed in the year 1995. So the point is that though they imposed in the year 1995 to stop, but nowadays the people are not able, the governments are not able to ban such. That was continuing. So all the things whatever they do, it should not be inconvenient. Some people for what we called enjoyment purpose, a few people consuming, and after consuming what things are going to do, they doesn't know. Such type of things which are going to be happen, and because of that here we have lost Sitama. So not only there in Andhra Pradesh, all over the country the people what they are involved and making such problematic to them. So such type of thing should not be happen, and that what it means better to ban such type of alcohol, then people will be happy with this what we have learned and understood. So that is one incident what it says about Adavalu Ekamaite. Coming to the next, social mobilization on human rights. Here this is about the one how Manipuri women were against of armed forces to suppress the people without any judicial review. So here coming to the historical content, as we know that Manipuri, which is related to the northeastern state of our country, and it is of two geographical terrains like valleys and as well as hills, where we can find only the valleys and hills, forest area, and ultimately this was there under the princely rule, mainly inhabited by the tribal people. Tribal people are existing more and more over there in this region, hilly region, valleys are found, and forest area which we are able to see over here. And almost all this is the princely rule right from 1891 under the British for the king's rule what they have been made. But after all this discussion in the year 1949, this was having an agreement to the merger of Manipur with India in the year 1949. 1891 under the British, like following up the princely states of the king's rule, but it came into involved with India in the year 1949 after attaining the independence of 2 years. 1947 we got independence, after 2 years that was merged. And what was the problem here? This is nothing but what we call AFSPA. What is this AFSPA? Is nothing but Armed Forces Special Power Act 1958. So according to this act, what the government has given them the prior permission means a suspicious, if anything is going to be found over there in this hilly terrain region, these army people are having a special power even to shoot at sight, and even they can arrest and they can maintain like what we called justice and equality for the people. Means to safeguard, even these people are having the powers to kill only because of to protect. That is what the government has given a special power. That is what we call here Armed Forces of Special Power Act, which they have been given for the army people. But here what happened, these army people are giving special power, but meanwhile they misused these powers, like making women, men and all other people to have suspicious and torturing, harassment, making people to be one type of horror. So these are the things which they have been made. So the power is given for what? For security. But instead of that, this was misplaced over here, and in that incident even the women were sexually abused. Mainly the women were sexually abused, and in this one of the women what's his name called Tanjava Manorama, a 32 years old of the woman, where she was in custodial death because of such type of sexual abuse. So these are the incidents which have taken part over there. That is what it says, especially about related to one what we call social mobilization on human rights. This is the one what it is related to Armed Forces Special Power Act 1958. Okay, the next what we are going to discuss about the one called Mira Pai Pai movement. So here Mira Pai Pai movement, Mira Pai Pai, like what we call torch bearers. The people one who hold the torch bearers, nothing but showing the light in the darkness. So this is what we call the Mira Pai Pai movement, like the torch bearers. In this, to stop disorder due to alcohol abuse in 1970s. How they are not following the orders as per the rules and regulations. So based upon that incidents here, this is the one what we are talking, the one called Mira Pai Pai movement. This is a human right movement related to AFSPA, Armed Force Special Power Act 1958. So in this movement, like what we are going to talk about, the one what we called Manipuri independence in 1980s. So in this, what they are saying here, what they have been made, this is completely like disturbed area. Why? What was the reason? Means Armed Forces Special Power Act 1958. So when the suspicious and making harassment, torture, are people to be threatened, like they themselves, like in their language, mithai or lekhai, like in every ward, what they started doing means against of this military operation, they themselves started doing patrolling. What was the reason for patrolling? Means as they are not in safe and secure. their life become miserable. What things are going to be happen when these people are going to come, like the army people are going to come and disturb, and they are making such type of harassment, torture, and even wantedly they are sending their husband and the sons outside, and when the women are there making such type of harassment. So that was the reason what they decided, means we don't want to sleep, we want to make patrolling, and we ourselves want to be protected better. This is what they have taken the decision. This is against of what, means against of military operation. What was the reason, means as Armed Force Special Power Act, people are making women to be threatened and making one type of harassment that they are unable to bear, and that was the reason they started using of these one mera pai pai, nothing but torch bearers. And how they are making, like having one bamboo, for that the bamboo rack with using of what we call kerosene, and that what they are showing the light to make every lake high. In that word what we call what, like nowadays, like how the police are going to come for each and every lane as for patrolling to safeguard against of such type of anti-evil practices. So like these people are only started awakening, and they themselves started wandering over each and every lake high, that is nothing but every word in that language what we call Mira Pai Bai, what I said for you to make you clear. So how these women were against of this Armed Force Special Power Act, here neither the politician or the government was unable to solve the situation. These people are only disturbed, and they themselves were described very clearly as a disturbed area. Such type of force, such type of pressure was pressurized by all these people. How can we bear these all the things? And they themselves started the making of the first biggest attempt is that boycott of elections. They are not ready to give prior permission to conduct the elections. All the women, they are saying that we don't want to see any elections because we are not getting any justice. When we are not getting justice, what is the use of elections? So they boycotted the elections and relay hunger and hunger strikes, even without having like food, water and nothing else they are having. They are very serious about this, the hunger strike. And in this hunger strike, one of the women, Irom Sharmila, where she was hunger strike more than 10 years and where she was under house arrest. So such type of inconvenient difficulties, all the women of these, what they faced, that all are only describing. So due to that, they proved how much the woman is having the power. That is what it says about the woman power. That all what it describes regarding the one what we call this as Mira Pai Bai movement. And at last, the conclusion of this topic, coming to this, what we call some common futures across social movements. As what we have discussed, just it is making you to conclude what does that means, the social movements. Here, what are the reasons which has been raised to diverse demands which are crossing to the boundaries, and the demand is only the one like what it says, the environment and as well as human rights. As we have already discussed, how the environmental movements, like we have seen previously, Chipko Andolan, Narmada Bachao Andolan, all these are only to make like the one what they have been faced, especially the best illustration or example what we call Chipko Andolan movement or Chipko movement, how they have safeguarded the forest. The global warming impact is only because of deforestation, but to counterpart of that, to protect the environment, these are the movements which were started, like human rights, like 1960s, Dr. Martin Luther King and Bhopal Gas tragedy, how the innocent people are asking the compensation, and that should not be repeated in future to safeguard them. So all these are only related to human rights, and even for the women rights also, like the anti-Iraq movement in Andhra Pradesh, as we have well experienced just before, how Sitama was no more, because how the people were addicted or consuming more alcohol, and with which Sitama was no more. That is one incident which took place over there in Andhra Pradesh. And Manipuri women against AFSPA, Armed Force of Special Power Act 1958. So in this, what was clear means misused powers against people of northeastern states, as the government has given the power only to eliminate such type of anti-social evil practices which they are going to be made, but instead of that, it was only to pressurize the women, and that was the reason how the woman power has been made. We have already seen practically. But anyway, these are the two illustrations with which we have learned. Like one, what we called Iron Sharmila, who was house arrested for more than 10 years, and one more, Tanjam Manorama, a 32 years old of woman who was a custodial death. So all these are the illustrations makes us what means how to make better, how to make people to lead their life in a happy manner, in a peaceful manner. Even like the government was trying to make them to preserve and protect, but it is failure. So they themselves are united together and they have been proved what the woman is having. So that was the strength of the woman. That was the reason they are able to boycott the elections and relay hunger, and these are the things practically what we have seen. So what was the conclusion? Whatever the movements in our times, what we are seeing nowadays, that should be only like a peace which make everyone better. And not only that, environment should be protected and peace should be inculcated. By that, no need of depending upon government or politicians. We ourselves can be safeguarded when we follow the things in a righteous way and right way. Then ultimately the society, state and the nation will be happy. So we have to do the things in a right manner, right way. No need to guide by the politician or government. We ourselves have to follow practically in a right manner, then things will be good. So that was the end. Have a nice day.